You know, the funny thing about consumerization of IT, most people, both in retail and at Microsoft, have no idea the impact, the magnitude of what's going on with the consumerization of IT. Just do a quick history of how retail has worked forever, except for the last 10 years. Um, Retailers went out, they built a store, they got a bunch of stuff, they put it in the store, they opened at 9, they closed at 9, people came in, they bought stuff, they were happy. A lot of things have changed that in the last 10 years, primarily the web. All of a sudden now for the first time, much cheaper than you can build a real store, much less staff it, you've got a store that's 24/7 worldwide, was awesome. Unfortunately, what it did to the retailers was it raised the level of expectation from the customer to say, hey, I can pretty much get whatever I want when I want. And by the way, I don't have to drive around for 4 hours and price compare. I'm just going to click a couple buttons or actually use a couple services on the web and price compare for me. Well, all of a sudden, that shift of power from the retailers being in control and kind of running the show, it's my way or the highway, went to the customer. And every year since 2000, it's gotten a little bit more complicated for the retailer. Think of it from the standpoint that first there was the web. You went out, you were able to get information, you were able to shop when you wanted to, and you began to kind of get used to that and expect it. Then all of a sudden, mobility started to get pretty powerful. Now you're able to start to do this from your phone, wherever you are. You can It's not. You don't have to just be at home. You can do it on the phone. But we just saw the first release of mobile phones with gigahertz processors this Christmas, and SDIO cards that are approaching 64 gigabit of storage, and that'll be a terabyte in 5 years. And then DSL or better connectivity. That's a freaking computer in your hand. And the millennials would just soon leave home without their left arm than their phone. So you got to be expecting that and incorporating that in. More power now to the consumer when and where they want instant access to information. Add social networking and some of the things that are going on with that. Now, consumers don't have to listen to what you say. They don't have to listen to what marketing says. They don't have to listen to what the newspaper or TV and ads say. They listen to each other. They don't trust anybody but people like them. Somebody who's been there, done that before, and who's taken the time to go out and express it. And again, the millennials and some of these newer generations have this fervent need to be heard. And so they're telling everybody about everything. Again, another source of, it's almost like your brand no longer is yours to own. It's in the public domain and being controlled through Flickr, Twitter, YouTube, and whatever. Retailers are struggling with this because they're like, heck, I don't. It's almost like I don't know how to keep up with what's going on. I mean, the joke we had early in the decade was some of these kids have more technology in their bedroom than most of us had in our data centers in the early 90s. So you got to kind of understand and expect how that's impacting retailers. And so Microsoft's trying to help retailers really factor that in. Because if you think about the experience of shopping, it's a digital experience now, whether it's on your phone, whether it's through your TV, your Xbox 360, on the web. We know almost 60, somewhere between 60 and 80% of the U.S. adult buying population goes to the web first to really figure out, what they want to do. Whether it's price comparison shop, or whether it's research, different aspects or different levels of what they're trying to buy, especially with big box purchases. Varies depending on whether they'll buy online or go in the store, but it doesn't matter. They're in that environment, and part of their shopping benchmark now, part of their shopping mentality is, I go and get whatever I want instantly in terms of information. When they go into the most brick and mortar stores now, it stops at the door. Really, you come in, where is stuff? Who do I ask a question for? When I go into a Home Depot, sometimes I look less for associates than I do for other guys like me standing in the plumbing aisle going. So you look for the one guy that looks like he knows what he's doing. That's social networking in the store. So the consumerization of IT is really, how do you kind of take that experience and start to put it in every channel, not just through your TV, through Xbox, through the web, but how do you infuse that into the store as well? Early signs that we're seeing, consumers taking their phones into the store, and they'll either try and do price comparison shops, and Amazon has apps that will let you do that almost instantly, or go out and look for reviews as they're looking at it. If you look at an emotional purchase like a big electronics buy, or in some cases furniture, where it's going to be part of your life, you kind of want to get that feel. You want to touch it and smell it and get comfy with it, but you're doing all this research online, and so Here's a great example of the impact of consumerization of IT. If you're Best Buy, and I want, the new plasma TV, and I've done all the research, but before I plop down that 6, 7 grand that I'm excited to do, I want to go in and just touch it and kind of make sure it's everything that I thought it was. And when I get that comfy feeling, when I bond with the product, I'm probably going to go check real quick, just out of curiosity, what can I get this for at Amazon or any other, retailer? And if they're telling me I can save even $500 with free shipping, done. And then all of a sudden, Best Buy becomes an expensive show floor for Amazon, which is great for Amazon, not so great for Best Buy. So what we're trying to do is figure out how we begin to bridge all these technologies together. How do you enable the consumer to walk in that store and be able to understand where is it? What does it go with? How good is it? Who's saying what about it? And then figure out a way to ring fence these customers and build that relationship with the retailer to where I'm just going to go ahead and buy it here because I got a relationship or a rapport with these guys, or they're giving me points and they're showing me immediately how valuable those points are, or if I buy it now, here's what I get with it free, or here's the services, or whatever. That kind of stuff's pretty important. And we're also trying to replicate experiences and create communities. I was in a Guitar Center yesterday, and then I went into Best Buy. And Best Buy's trying this, no offense to Best Buy, but they're trying this experiment with selling instruments in a store. Difference between buying a guitar at Best Buy and buying a guitar at Guitar Center is the experience. As a musician, when you walk into a Guitar Center, you're submersed in a musician's world, and there's musicians everywhere, and you can talk to them, and the people that work there are musicians, and you feel like you're really part of a community. Didn't get that so much at Best Buy. So how can I create that community experience at Best Buy? Well, leveraging channels, creating a community on the web where they're infusing that, and we're able to kind of enable you to tap into that community while you're into the store. Simple example of how we're trying to do that, but just understand that this consumerization of IT thing is both a threat and an opportunity to retailers. It's not going away. As a matter of fact, it's going to continue to grow and escalate in terms of its power that will be in the hands of the consumer. The smart retailers are figuring out, they're not mad, they're not fighting it. They're trying to figure out how to tap in and leverage it and become part of this consumerization of IT wave and build relationships and improve experiences leveraging it. The retailers that probably aren't going to make it are the ones that are ignoring it, denying it, fighting it, and the consumer's just going to go around them.